And this is a story about a creepy, crawly little creature with 8 legs called a what? Spider. A spider, of course. Now, this is a story about the most famous spider in all of Africa. Does anybody know what that spider's name was? Now, I have to tell you, it's not Charlotte. No. It's not Itsy Bitsy. Who knows the name of that spider? Anansi. Did you know that too? Very good. Everybody say Anansi. All right. Very good. Well, I was taught this story as one of the traditional stories of Ghana, West Africa. And the name of this story is How the Moon Came to Be in the Sky. Now, you're going to have to help me tell this story. Can you all help me tell this story? And you can help me right from where you are. You see, a long time ago, Anansi the spider had to go and take care of a little business in another village. But when he got there, he got to having such a good time with his friends after he finished taking care of his business that he lost track of time. And then he said, oh my goodness, he looked at his watch. Well, you didn't know spiders wore watches? Well, it's my story. Anyway, he looked at his watch and he said, oh my goodness, I better hurry up and get back home because it's going to start getting very, very dark and I won't be able to find my way, because this is the story of how the moon came to be in the sky. Well, meanwhile, back at home, Anansi's family had become concerned. Now, this is where I'm going to need your help, remembering the names of Anansi's family members. Now, his wife's name was Aso. Can you say Aso? Aso. That's good. And he had 6 children. Yes, he did. They had a big family. There were 3 boys and 3 girls. Now, the first girl's name was Sea Trouble. What was her name? Sea Trouble. Show me with your hand. Sea Trouble. Very good. And the second girl's name was River Drinker. What was it? River Drinker. And the third girl's name was Cushion. Yeah, you know, that great big fat fluffy thing. Well, now, of the boys, the first boy's name was Road Builder. What was it? Yeah. The second boy's name was Game Skinner. He liked to hunt with a knife. And the third boy's name was Stone Thrower. All right. Now, don't forget. Don't forget, okay? Now, this is what happened. While Anansi was in the forest, walking through the tall trees, it had started getting so dark he could barely see his hand in front of his face. And as he was walking along, suddenly on the ground, he saw a great big white ball of light lying there. And he looked at it, he said, wow, look at that. Oh man, how beautiful it is. I wonder what it's for. So he went over to the ball of light and he picked it up. But it was so bright he could barely see. And he was walking along. He said, boy, I wonder what I can do with this. But then the light was so blinding that he lost his footing and he slipped down the side of the riverbank, and a great big fish came along, doom, 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 and swallowed Anansi up. And there he was, standing there inside the belly of this fish, still holding that ball of light. He looked around himself and he said, my goodness, if anybody can come and get me out of this mess, I'll gladly give them this old ball of light. Well, meanwhile, back at home, Anansi's family had become very concerned, and his wife, whose name was Aso said to the children, she said, children, I'm afraid something terrible must have happened to your father, and we have to do something. We have to do something. She said, you know, he's always on time for dinner. Well, one of the daughters stepped forward who thought that she could sense what was wrong. Who was that daughter? Sea Trouble. There you go. Sea Trouble said, oh, Mama, I can see Daddy now. He was on his way home, but oh my goodness, he fell inside the river, and oh no, a great big fish came and swallowed him up. Mama, we got to do something quickly to save our father. And so one of the sons stepped forward. He said, you know what we need? We need a path to get us quickly down to the river's edge. I can take care of this one. Who do you think that son was? Road Builder. There you go. Road Builder got some bricks together and laid them down, and there went the little spider family on down the road. Well, when they got down to the river's edge, there was so much water there, and the sky was so black, you couldn't really see anything out there. So one of the sons came forward, and he looked through, and he said, "Where is he? I've got my knife with me. I can get him, I know." But in the meantime, one of the daughters came along. She said, "You know, it's just too much water here. I've got to move some of this water out the way." So she stuck her lips inside that water. Who do you think that was? All right. And she and went and sat down. Well, the son with the knife, whose name was Game Skinner. That's right. Game Skinner looked out into the water, into the now dry riverbed where the water once was. And he said, "Ha ha, I see a shadow out there of a great big fish. I bet he's the one that's got our father." And so he went out into the now dry riverbed with his knife. He cut that old fish open, and out popped Anansi, still holding that ball of light. Well, when he looked up at the side of the hill at his family, he was so happy to see everybody and to see that they had come to help him out that he was just about to go up there and give them all a great big hug when all of a sudden a great big bird came flying from out of the sky, swooped down, picked up Anansi, and began to fly away. Oh no! Anansi is flying away in the beak of the big bird. Oh my goodness. Well, one of the daughters came along and she said, "Come on, Daddy, just fall, I'll get you. Just fall." Who was that daughter? That's right. But he couldn't get loose. So one of the sons looked up and he picked up a great big rock. Who was that son? Man, stone thrower picked up that rock, put it in his slingshot, pulled back, and ping-yong, knocked that bird upside the head, and Anansi came falling. But he was going to hurt himself. Who was the daughter who came to break his fall? Cushion came. She said, "I got him. I got him." And Anansi landed gently upon the back of his child. Well, when he got up, his knees were a little wobbly at that point, and he looked at his family. He said, "Boy, I am so glad that you guys came to help me out." And he said, "But you know, I'm a little bit confused because you guys used to always argue and fuss and fight about your differences. I mean, Road Builder thought he was the only one who knew how to make a way. And Sea Trouble thought she was the only one who could see one. You always argued and fought about your differences, but look at you now. You have used those differences as your source of strength, and with it, you've saved my life. But you know, I'm still a little bit confused because I'd promised that whomever helped me out, I would give them this ball of light, but you've all helped me. But now I'm not quite sure what to do. How can I use this ball of light for everyone?" And the sky god said, "I tell you what. You send that old ball of light up here to me, and I'll put it in a place where everybody can enjoy its light." And so all together, the members of the spider family touched hands. They supported that ball, and they began to lift it into the sky. And what I want all of you to do now is to hold the hands of someone beside you, in front of you, behind you, however you can do it. Hold hands, and I want you to focus on your light. Because, you know, there's something special about each and every one of you. And on the count of 3, we're going to lift our light up into the sky. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boy, that ball of light went up into the sky and got stuck there. And they started calling it the moon. And don't you know that as Anansi and his family was walking through the forest on the way home, a light and gentle rain began to fall, and for the first time, they saw moonglow dancing off the raindrops. Such a beautiful and peaceful way to go. So I ask you to remember that each of you has a light, something special inside you. So let your light shine, and don't try to put out the light of anybody else. Thank you.